This is the SK05 Helm from Loop Gear, and I'm going to tell you all about it right now. Upon unboxing, you'll find a C-Type to C-Type charging cable, the manual, and of course, the light itself powered by two 3000 mAh lithium-ion rechargeable 18650 batteries. The helm is made of aluminum alloy, is also IP68 water resistant, and has an impact rating of 1 meter and weighs just over 200 grams or just under 8 ounces with both batteries on board. I'll leave the tech specs from the manual on the screen now, just in case I leave out any details, so pause the video here to see those details. I've tested all three primary white LED outputs for runtime potential and heat dispersal. Starting in the 750 lumen spot mode, the helm ran for 1 minute at that output before the ATR kicked in and ramped down to a lower output that was unspecified. It also ran at that output, gradually ramping down the entire time for the remainder of the test for a total run time of 15 hours and 41 minutes of usable light. It also reached a max thermal output of 99 degrees Fahrenheit or 37 degrees Celsius after about 56 minutes of use. Next up, during my runtime test, starting in the 2100 lumen flood mode, the helm ran for 1 minute at that output before the ATR kicked in and ramped it down to a lower lumen output that was unspecified. It then ran at that output, gradually ramping down the entire time for the remainder of the test for a total run time of 8 hours and 1 minute. It also reached a max thermal output of 105 degrees Fahrenheit or 40 degrees Celsius after about 1 minute of use. Moving along to the side LED runtime test, starting in the high white mode, the helm ran at that unspecified output whilst gradually ramping down until depletion for a total runtime of 1 day and 6 minutes. It also reached a max thermal output of 85 degrees Fahrenheit or 29 degrees Celsius after about 1 hour and 31 minutes of use. Moving along to my recharge time test, the helm took 2 hours and 31 minutes to fully recharge from completely depleted. Now let's take a brief tour of the modes and general operation of the Loop Gear SK05 helm. Alright guys, I just want to preface this with the company that sent this in, Loop Gear, did not send it to me because I asked for it. They did not send it to me because they asked to send it in to me. They actually just sent it to me in the mail and they were like, hey, check this out. Now, typically my terms and conditions and policies on reviewing products is don't send anything into the channel unless you run it by me first, because I don't want to spend a lot of time looking at products that are just junk and I don't want a bunch of clutter just, kicking around the studio. But they took the liberty upon themselves to send this in, and I'm actually very happy with the fact that they did send it in, and they're so excited about sending this in to me that they actually sent in the prototype without the pocket clip, which is perfectly fine. I actually saw the pocket clip on their website and it looks pretty robust, and I think you guys will be fine with that. Yeah, they sent this in to me and they were so excited about it, and so I was like, hey guys, why'd you send me this stuff? All right, fine, I'll take it and I'll check it out. I'll see, what it's all about, because you guys are so excited about it. And when a company believes in their product so much so that they're just gonna violate all the terms and conditions and send it on in anyway, then that gets some credit, because it actually was a pretty darn good light in my opinion. So let's kind of take a run through now. Like I said, prototype model didn't have the pocket clip. They're going to send it to me later on down the line, and I'll let you guys know in a future video how that works. They have 2 lights on the front and 1 light bar on the side. Now the lights in the front are the floodlight and the spotlight. The floodlight lens is made of acrylic, and the lens for the spotlight is made of glass. It does have a magnetic tail, so you can stick it to things like the side of your vehicle or wherever you're working at. Does have a rotary dial here on the side, and the thing about the rotary dial is it does have a manual lockout. So you press that, you go ahead and you lock out, and that's good. It has the flood mode, it has the spot mode, and then it has the sidebar mode. Every time that you turn this dial, it will show that if it's lit up or not. Like you can see, it's not fully lit up, which means I did use a tiny bit of power to charge another device. And the cool part about this is you can charge other devices off of it, like smartphones and GoPros and stuff like this. So I'll just give you a quick demonstration. You plug it into the side here, and you plug it into your GoPro or your phone or whatever, and then of course this starts charging and it lights up, and then you can see right here that we're also charging as well. So that's pretty nifty little addition onto this cool flashlight. Another thing is when you are actually charging this flashlight, so if I go ahead and I start charging this light, you're going to see that it does light up like that. But if you don't want it to light up the entire time it's charging, all you have to do is just hit the button here on the side and it will turn that off. And if you want to put it back on, you just press it again and we'll just show you that it's still charging. And when this is red like this, that means it's charging. And then when it's fully, like it turns slightly purple and then it turns blue when it's fully charged, and it will stay on constant after that. Now, the one thing that is kind of a bummer is you can't charge your device and use the light at the same time, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is, guys. It's either a charger or a flashlight, but not both at the same exact time. With that being said, let's jump into some of the general operations. So you have your lockout mode here, that's locked out. You have your flood mode here, your spot mode here, and of course you have your side light here. Now the side light, let's start off with the side light first. Now how you turn that on is you double click, it's going to go into that low mode. Actually, it's going to go into whatever mode you left it in last, but right now we're in the low white light mode, and then of course you cycle through just by holding it down. If you want to go over to the next output, it's going to be a double click, and it's going to bring you over to the solid constant on colored light. And if you wanted to change the color of the output, you just hold it down and cycle through the different colors, and it will bring you all the way through the spectrum. And of course, if you wanted to jump over to the next output or the next mode, it's going to be the breathing colored light. Breathing colored light's pretty nice. It just pulses, and the same thing, it's a single output, so it's not like you can change the output from like 1 lumen to 20 lumens or whatever it is. But you hold the button down and it's going to cycle through on that constant output with that breathing, and that's what it's going to look like. You're going to be able to change colors like that. Double click again, it's going to bring you over to streamline. That's what it looks like, and you can change the color like holding it down just like so, of course. And then the next one, double click again, it's going to bring you over to the pattern. The drop flow is what it's called, and that's pretty cool. And of course, you just hold it down again, and it's going to change that as well. So you're going to be able to change the different colors, and then double click again, and it's going to bring you over to that rainbow mode. The cool part about the rainbow mode is you can slow it down. So if you wanted to slow it down, you hold down the side switch and it will slow down, the pattern will change. And of course, you hold it down again and it will speed up as well. And another thing is the triple click 1, 2, 3 is going to bring you over to that emergency light with the red and blue flashers. Those are the outputs for those different modes. And of course, you could switch over anytime to your spot or your flood. Let's jump into turning on the flood light now. So this is what the flood looks like let's put it in the low mode. That's what flood in the low mode looks like. Comes out of the 3 LEDs there. I'm gonna blind Bob. Bob's over here helping me with this review. So you get your low, medium, high, and then you double click for that turbo. It's a nice bright flood output. Now, if you want to jump over to the strobe, 1, 2, 3 is going to bring you over to the strobe, and that's what it's going to look like. Strobe's going to be both of the outputs for the spot and the flood on at the same time. So that's what that's going to look like. Moving along to the SOS mode, how that works is you double click, but on the second click, you're going to hold that down, and it's going to bring you into SOS while you're in strobe. And of course, you could do that in any of the modes for the spot and the flood. Now we're going to bring you over to the spotlight, and this is what the spotlight looks like here. And we're going to be in the low, and then the medium, and then the high, and then double click for that turbo. And of course, you can triple click for that strobe, and then 1.5 click for the SOS as well. Now, when the light is in the off position, all you have to do is hold down the side button. It doesn't matter what mode it's on, but as long as it's off, as long as the light is on one of these outputs here, you can use that. But if it's in the lockout mode, you're not going to be able to use this. And that's the turbo that utilizes both the flood and the spot LEDs. And that's going to use that at the same time. And you turn that on, and that is super bright. And according to the website, that's going to be 2250 lumens. And of course, that can only be used as a momentary on while you're holding the button down. And of course, you do have your C-type charging. As far as the batteries go, this is the non-pro model. The pro model has a different door in the back, but this one has screws, and I didn't really like the fact that I had to deal with the screws. The screw did actually get stripped when I put it in there. It is a hex screw, so you need one of those like phone repair kit screwdrivers and stuff, so you need all that. I actually have one in the studio for all the different pieces of equipment that I use, but this is definitely kind of a pain in the butt if you're going to change out the batteries, but you're not really going to have to do that with this. The lithium batteries last a very long time, but the Pro model does have a switch that you flick, and you like push it forward and push it down, and then it pops open. As you can see, I got a little bit of play in there because of the fact that the screw didn't quite go back all the way in, because right now it is currently stripped. Maybe they'll send me another another screw because, you know, I'd appreciate that. But this does run off of two 18650 batteries, so that's not too bad. You're not going to have to worry about swapping those out for a long period of time, but it's nice that you can if you wanted to. So very simple operation, guys. Very easy to use. The output for the charger is 20 watts, so that's going to give you 20 watts, and you're able to fast charge your device for your phone or whatever you want to charge. You're going to be able to fast charge on these smartphones, which is nice. It's a nice feature to have. So let's take this bad boy outside and see what it looks like in the dark. The Loop Gear SK05 Helm has a max beam distance of 380 meters or 1,250 feet in the 750 lumen spot mode. It also has a max candela of 36,000 CD and utilizes a cool white LED coming in between 6,000K and 6,500K. It also has an RGB LED array on the side. Okay guys, we're outside with the SK05 Helm from Loop, and I'm going to put this into the 20 lumen flood mode. That's what the 20 lumen flood mode looks like, and we are 20 feet away from the railing there in front of us. And of course, I'm going to step it up again. We're going to go into the 150 lumen flood mode, and that's what the 150 lumen flood mode looks like. You can start to see outside of the porch area, and I'll put this into the 650 lumen flood mode. That's what the 650 lumen flood mode looks like. And of course, if I double tap, that's going to put it into the 2100 lumen flood mode, and that's what that looks like, and it's crazy bright. And of course, I'm going to turn it over now to the spot mode. I'll put this in the spot mode, and that spot mode, you're in 10 lumens right now. 10 lumens, pretty decent throw on that. I'm going to step it up again. We're going to go into the 60 lumens. 60 lumens, you could start to see out into that tree line there. That tree line out there is 100 feet away at 60 lumens. Not bad. Let's jump up to the 200 lumen mode. 200 lumens, you could definitely see out to that tree line back there. In fact, I'm going to zoom in so you can see what I'm seeing. And that's not too bad for 200 lumens from a light like this. That's not bad at all. And now I'm going to jump it up to the 750 lumen turbo mode, and now you can definitely see out there. Look how crazy bright that is. You're seeing all the way out there into that tree line right back there. And of course, we're 100 feet away from that, so not bad. We're 20 feet away from the railing there in front of us. All right, guys, now we're going to try the distance test, and I'll throw this into the 20 lumen flood mode. As you can see, we're about 15 feet away from the grass there in front of us. That's 20 lumens. I'm going to slowly pan up and out, and that little marker out there is about 50 feet away from me. I'm going to put this into the 150 lumen flood mode, and we're about 15 feet away from the grass there in front of us, and we're slowly pan back out to that marker over there, and you can kind of see in the distance, you know, you can see that bush over there that's about 50 feet away. And now I'm going to put it into the 650 lumen flood mode, and that's what the 650 lumen flood mode looks like. 15 feet away from the grass there. I'm going to pan back out, and that's where the marker is, about 50 feet to the marker, about 50-55 feet to the tree there. And of course, all the way in the back there is the tree line. Now I'm going to step this up to the 2100 lumen mode by double-clicking and going to the turbo mode. And this is the turbo flood, and that's what it looks like. And you're really able to see everything that's around us here. That tree line over there, all the way at the trees. The middle, the furthest point, is going to be 100 feet, probably a little bit over 100 feet. So not too bad. That's what that looks like. Alright guys, now we're going to try the spot mode, and this is what the spot mode looks like. 10 lumens from 15 feet away from the grass there in front of us. We're going to pan up and over to the marker. Not too bright, but still kind of got a little bit of a punch to it. I'm going to step it up to the 60 lumen mode. 60 lumens, spot mode. I'm going to pan up to that marker there. Pan over to that tree line a little bit. Maybe do the bush over there. Barely see the bush. I'm going to step it up again to the 200 lumens. This is what 200 lumens looks like, 15 feet away. Pan back up, go over to that marker over there. Slowly pan across the yard here. I like the fact that it does have a nice spot. There is a little bit of spill. I don't know if you guys can see it. I'm going to jump up to the 750 lumen turbo mode, but you can see that spill now a little bit, right? And so it's got a little bit of spill, so you guys can see around you, but it doesn't like kind of jump too far out. So if you need to be kind of discreet, but also want to punch through, that's 100 feet away from the tree line there where I'm punching through over there. And that's what it looks like. And you can see crystal clear exactly what you're looking at with no problem. If there was an animal or somebody in the bushes, you'd be able to see it with crystal clarity out there. Bring it back here, and then we're going to pan back out. And as you guys can see, this is what it's going to look like. Slow pan. This is the flood mode. And then, of course, this is going to be the spot mode. And from my perspective, what I'm seeing, I could see perfectly clear out into the woods there. And I'll throw it back over to the flood. That flood is nice. I do like that flood. And like I said, it's not getting super hot even for spamming that turbo. It does start to ramp down after you throw it in turbo, but after about a minute. So, something to think about. But yeah, that spot's nice. The thing I wanted to point out is when you hold the button down, no matter what mode you're in, if you hold that button down, it's going to put you in a flood and a throw for the spot at the same time. When you do put it in the individual, like the flood, that's just the flood when I do put the turbo mode in. And then when I do the turbo for the spot, that's the turbo for the spot. But if I have the light off and I hold down the button, that's the turbo for both the flood and the spot together from off. So that's what that's going to look like. And that's just for spotting quick because it does get hot pretty quick. But that's what it looks like. I'm actually pretty impressed with that. Triple click, it's going to bring you into that strobe mode. And of course, pressing the button again will turn that off. Now guys, as far as the outputs on that side white cob mode, I am not, like there's nothing really there to write home about. For the most part, I have to be this close to the railings. I'm about a foot away from the railings actually. I'm going to take a step back. This is in the highest lumen output that they put. And I think it's like 20 lumens or something like that, or 20 hours runtime. It didn't really specify in the manual. If they did, I will leave it on the screen now, but when I was perusing the manual earlier, I didn't see anything except for the runtimes. And this does have a pretty good runtime. The runtime during my tests, this lasted for about 24 hours. It didn't really start ramping down until about 8 hours from the highest lumen output, so that's not terrible. And then of course you have the different colors. You got the green here, and then you got the blue, then you got this other bluish color, and then of course has this little racing thing that it does, laser. And you can change the colors here, and then you get your rainbow, and then if you triple click, you got your police light there, which yeah, that's really, I mean, it's not super bright. I mean, it's kind of like if you stuck it on the back of your car or something like that, then you'd be able to use that as a beacon so that way people could find your car if you're like stuck in the snow somewhere. But yeah, not super bright, and it's not like you can change the output on that either, which is another thing that's kind of weird. You can only change the speeds. So no matter what output you put in, the only one you can change the output for is the white mode for the cob, which, I mean, I guess that's useful. But that's the lowest one, medium, and then high. And that's all you got. That's all she wrote.
Now for my pros and cons. First, the pros. The run times and outputs, along with the ability to be used as a 20-watt device charger, were all major wins for this light. Now for my cons. This light did feel a little bit slick to hold, and I was worried about dropping it. I wish they added some kind of rubberized grips to the side. My hands are a little large for the light as well. I felt like the light was kind of tiny for the rotary dial and everything to be in such a squished, compact area.
but that's just because I'm an ogre. The screws holding the battery door on were low quality metal, and they stripped easily when I took the batteries out. When I tried to put the door back on, this screw became stripped, and I couldn't really put the screw all the way back in, so now like my door is like not right. But here's the issue, right guys? If they put a little bit stronger screws on there, we wouldn't have any issues at all, because then you just pop it off, you can pop it back on, and that's just part of life. Plus, it's not like you're going to be changing the batteries out all the time on this. I mean, once lithium ion lasts a really long time, so that's another plus. But the other thing was that if you do drop this, even with the new design for the Pro version of this light, it does have the potentiality of popping open if it hits the surface hard enough or at just the right angle. Whereas this one with the screws, if you drop it in a very bad situation, you know, you're not gonna have to worry about the batteries popping out. You've seen horror movies, you know, your batteries pop out of the flashlight, you know, and then after you drop it and it's like, oh no, and then you can't see anything and you're fighting the serial killer in the dark. But yeah, that's basically, you know, another good plus to this is that they do stay closed once you put those screws in, and just can't mess with the screws because they strip, because they're just cheap, terrible screws. But other than the very unlikely probability that you're going to strip the screws, the overall operation and use of the light was flawless. I mean, this thing was easy to use, it was fun to use, there was a lot of different potential situations that you can use it in, and I felt like it was going to be a fun and reliable light to have in my collection. So if you're looking for a unique EDC flashlight that will make an excellent conversation piece, then the Loop Gear SK05 Helm is definitely worth a try. The standard SK05 Helm model retails for $99.99 on the Loop Gear website, but I'm going to be leaving a discount code in the description below so that you guys can get a percentage off of your purchase. And on top of that great price, you're also going to be able to get a lifetime free from defects warranty from Loop Gear. I hope this video has been helpful. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and give this video a thumbs up if you found it useful. Thank you guys for watching. This has been Prepared Guy, and until next time guys, stay prepared.
Hey there, thank you for watching. You can pat this cat.